All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Today, as the kids would say, we have a based show. It's a fun show. It's a based show. We have some really good policy stuff. John Fetterman is doing some amazing things I want to share with you. And we also have a whole bunch of idiots saying idiotic stuff, including Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire, Sean Hannity, Donald Trump Jr. Oh my God, the thing he said. Oh, you're going to love it. Oh, it's so good. Okay. And then we do have a couple serious stories later on. And one of them is we've spent $1.7 trillion on the F-35, the new F-35 fighter jet. And you're going to be astonished as to how often it works. You would think it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to work if we spent 1.7 trillion on it. But apparently not, and the percentage is absolutely mind-boggling. All right, so before we get into it, everybody do me a big favor. Please click like, click subscribe. Still trying to grow the channel. I believe the next plaque I get is 10 million, which means we maybe never will get that next plaque because that's about 9 million away, dog. That's far away, but you can help me out. I believe if everybody who watched this channel click subscribe, I think like 30 or 40% of you guys don't sub even though you watched, and that would be a big help in the algorithm, and it would be a big help in getting us there. So I would definitely appreciate that. And remember, we don't talk to advertisers for this show. I don't talk to any corporations. I'm very proud of that fact. You guys helped build this show from the ground up. So do me a big favor and support on Patreon, link below, or you can tip on YouTube. There's a thanks button below. Thank you so much to everybody who does that. Seriously, I can't explain enough how much that helps, keeps us going. So, all right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it here. So, Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire, he's just like Matt Walsh in the sense that he cannot go more than a day without talking about trans people. This guy is more obsessed with trans people than trans people are. He's more obsessed with trans people than the families of trans people. He's more obsessed with trans people than gender-affirming care doctors are obsessed with trans people. He's more obsessed with trans people than academics who study trans issues are obsessed with trans. It's amazing. So we've hit like the anti-trans singularity here we are about to see. This clip is astonishing. And I want to blast this through a megaphone from the mountaintops and tell every single Republican politician to listen to Michael Knowles' advice. That's right. Kyle Kulinski is endorsing the Republicans taking Michael Knowles' advice. Here he is giving 2024 election advice. This is glorious.
What differentiates Asa Hutchinson from all the rest? What differentiates him from Doug Burgum or Chris Christie? I mean, these are not guys that are polling very high right now. Asa Hutchinson said that he would trans the kids. That's the difference. And so
all right, let me just pause real quick to point out this is, of course, not true. What happened is, I believe there was a bill that got to Asa Hutchinson's desk. He's the Republican governor of Arkansas. And the bill wanted to ban all trans-affirming care for young people. And Asa Hutchinson said, I am a traditional conservative. I believe in small government. So I think these decisions should be left up to the medical experts and the families to decide. So I will not have big government intervene and do a blanket ban across the board of gender-affirming care for kids. Are there instances where somebody might think they need gender-affirming care and they're young and they actually don't? Yes, but let the doctors figure it out, let the families figure it out, let the individuals figure it out. Let's not get big government involved. Traditional conservative perspective of small government, there's also a position Chris Christie has. Now, on other trans-related issues, they're not exactly down with what is viewed as the left position. But on this one, he's just like, hey, that government's a little too big for me. How does Michael Knowles twist that and smear Asa Hutchinson? I can't believe I'm defending Asa Hutchinson. He says he wants to trans the kids. As if Asa Hutchinson and the Arkansas National Guard are roaming through Arkansas to kidnap kids and force them to get sex change surgeries. This is just bogus. This is just bogus.
What we're being told by all the genius GOP consultants is we got to turn away from the culture war issues. We've got to focus in on the bread and butter dinner table issues. No one wants to hear about transing the kids or anything like that. That is the issue that was decisive in this case. That is the issue that destroyed Asa Hutchinson's career.
Okay, hold on. Oh, so he's saying that transing the kids is actually the number one political issue in the country. And how do I know that? Well, Asa Hutchinson is doing the worst in the polls for the Republicans, and the reason he is because of this issue. But Doug Burgum didn't sign any such legislation, and he's doing horribly. I mean, we could go through literally almost all of the candidates are doing horribly. Will Hurd, this guy's running for Perry Johnson, I think they're running for president. They didn't sign any such legislation. They didn't say any such thing about trans people, and they're also down at like 0.01%. And look at the inverse of that. Ron DeSantis was running on I'm anti-woke, I'm anti-trans, and he has gone down recently. Okay, but wait, I'm burying the lead. I gotta let him finish. Sorry.
That is the issue that got Glenn Youngkin elected governor in Virginia. That is the issue. That is one of two issues that made Ron DeSantis the number 2 guy in this presidential race, having been relatively unknown just a few years ago in Florida. This is not just some fringe online thing. Transing the kids resonates nationwide and motivates people to go out and vote.
Michael, it absolutely is a fringe online thing. Nobody thinks about trans people as much as you and Matt Walsh. Literally nobody. The idea that you think this resonates, just so you guys understand, in the midterm races that we just had where Democrats did way better than everybody expected. Everybody, red wave, red wave, red wave. I was saying, I don't know about that. I'm agnostic. Not sure that's going to happen. Turns out I was right. It didn't happen. And you want to know one of the main things Republicans were running on? This exact issue. There were anti-trans ads running. Republicans put them out there all across the country. There's a great article I read about this at the time. This was one of the issues that a lot of people were leaning into. And it got them nowhere. It got them nowhere. So if this was such a silver bullet, magic bullet's the JFK assassination bullet. That's not what I mean. If this was such a, get out of jail free card, right? You're going to win if you do this. Well, why didn't it work? And also, I love how he brings up, look, it worked for Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, you said it yourself, is number 2 in the polls. Number 2, not number 1. And what does the guy who's number 1 say? Well, he was under a lot of heat recently because, he's not anti-trans enough, right? Because Megyn Kelly asked him, can a man become a woman? And he was like, well, I mean, you have a man, you have a woman, right? Caitlyn, everybody says Caitlyn Jenner. I knew Caitlyn when Caitlyn was Bruce. Caitlyn was Bruce now. Bruce is Caitlyn. It's a mealy-mouthed answer. Don't get me wrong. Trump is definitely anti-trans. I mean, he banned trans people from the military. But the extent to which he talks about it is way less than a lot of these other goons. And the extent to which he's obsessed with it is way less than all these other goons. And in some ways, he doesn't toe the line. And he's still leading by like 40 points. Whoops. There goes your theory. By the way, how can we test this? Apart from what I already told you, that Republicans ran on this and they failed, et cetera, et cetera. Ron DeSantis is flailing and he failed. And this was one of his main things, right? How can we test whether or not Michael Knowles is correct? Well, I always like to rely on polling data, use it all the time. So I haven't seen polling specifically on this issue of trans kids or transness in general, but I have seen polls on what is used as a moniker for that issue and other issues, namely wokeness. How much do voters care about wokeness? Okay, well, we have an answer. It is in Vox. Quote, in the New York Times and Siena College poll, only 24% of Republican voters said they would choose a candidate who focuses on defeating radical woke ideology in our schools, media, and culture over a candidate who focuses on restoring law and order in our streets and at the border. By the way, another Republican argument, which to be fair, also failed, because they also ran on the law and order thing in the midterms and lost, right? But even when you compare that failing idea to the other failing idea, the law and order idea is way more popular. Only 24% of Republican voters were like, yeah, anti-wokeness is the thing. You want to know why? Because not everybody has terminal online brain worms like you, Michael Knowles. Not everybody is following the scandal du jour brought to you by the Daily Caller or whatever the fuck these guys listen to or watch, right? You know what regular people care about? paying the bills, making sure their kids are safe, their wages, their health care. So he literally brings up like kitchen table issues to poo-poo kitchen table issues. So that's why we come full circle here. That's why I come back to what I said at the beginning of this segment. I hope every Republican politician out there listens to Michael Knowles and runs on what he wants you to run on. Please, by all means, run on the, bro, transness, bro, so bad, bro. Because there's going to be a significant percentage of Republican voters who are like, what's trans? It's true. There's going to be like all the anti-woke stuff. There's a large number of normies all across this country who are like, say woke, what again now? What does this word mean? What are you talking about? God, they're so online. Oh, it's so sad. Oh, it's so sad. Look, I want to impress this. And just to be clear, this isn't only a right-wing problem. It is a problem with the Daily Wire, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, etc. They are way too online. This is also a problem on the left, too. People, there are a certain segment of people are just way too online across the ideological spectrum. And it totally warps their thinking. One of the things I like to pride myself on is at least keeping one foot in that normie world where you can be the normie whisperer and see what regular people are thinking. Not somebody who's tweeting 142 times a day and is on YouTube following every single drama. That stuff is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. So please, everybody, listen to Michael Knowles' advice, all you Republican politicians. Run on trans stuff, run on woke stuff. You know what he's so silly. You know what he's missing? Guys, there was another poll that came out recently that was like, nobody cares about wokeness. And what happened? The two candidates who are running on the Republican side, who were all in on that being their central campaign message, Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, they saw that data, they flipped on a dime. And in fact, at the Republican debate, a debate which would have been probably 50% about wokeness prior to those polls coming out, wokeness didn't come up once. It didn't come up once. So at least for the Republican politicians, they are smart enough to understand empirical facts about the world and adjust in real time to try to tailor their message down a winning path. Whereas somebody like Michael Knowles, who just pontificates from his air-conditioned studio all day, he's like, no, I declared wokeness is the main issue, trans is the main issue, yeah. Run on that, please. Yes, I agree, Michael Knowles. All Republican politicians, please run on that. Let me know how that works out for you. I'm sure it'll be exactly like it worked out for you in the past, which is not good at all. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.